Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer. I'm glad you joined me tonight. What I want to do is I want to do some talking. I want to talk about stuff. Well, that's kind of what you do on a live stream, right? So, here we go. We're going to talk about stuff. Tonight, I got into this and let me see. Working on the stream again while it's streaming. Studio mode is not what I was looking for. Looking for the chat. I don't see it. File, edit, view, view, docs. One of these has it in it. No. Where did it go? You ain't. I can never do this right the first time. All right. I don't know where the chat window's at. Oh, Lord. What have I done? It was just here. I do everything to try and make these streams go as smooth as I can. If you're still with me, God bless you. Oh, where's it? Where's it at? I don't know anymore. No. There used to be an option to see the chat, and it would show it to me on OBS, and now I can't see it. I'm just going to have to load a YouTube page and see if I can find me on there. I'm sorry. I'm about to shut the stream down and just call it quits. This is pathetic. I can't do no better than this. I shouldn't be doing it at all. Let's see. I just do that. Let's see what comes up. There we go. Somebody's watching this menagerie of pain. Hi, Hassan, it's you. I see, because I've got the chat window brought up. All right. There is a helicopter flying over, and it's dark outside. I really hope them boys have some good night vision. Let's see. Scripts, captions, automatic scene. It used to be a custom window. Found it. Ha! Got it. Okay. Alright. I have to rearrange the size of it. And you can't get too close to the top because then it wants to merge it to the top of the window. Now we're on. What? 40 minutes in. I think I found it. Okay, now I can close this window so it doesn't do something bizarre. Woo, he did it. He found the chat. Oh, all right. Welcome to the, as I put it, the menagerie of pain in viewing called David's Livestream. So today, my main goal is to talk. Guess what I did? I turned off the audio system. Okay. It's going to be this one. Okay. All right. There you are. Oh. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now I'm back. I'm using a new mic too, so you just bear with me. But Adobe promises artists will be compensated fairly for the new generative AI product, but is fuzzy on the details. Now, hey Phil, thank you for stopping by and watching the painful menagerie of doom that is the David Saylors Livestream. I'm going to pull this audio back just a touch because it looks like I'm bouncing into the red just a little bit. Okay. I try to get these things set up, and it always falls apart. Yeah, Keystone Cops. That's a good way of putting it. It's just a mess every single time. One day I'll do a live stream and it'll go smoothly. One day it'll happen. I'm sure of it. But what I wanted to do was I wanted to look at this because this article brought a lot of things to light that was really interesting. And I'm going to kind of read this as I go. This is from TechCrunch, this article off of their website. But this brings up good points, and I wanted to discuss them. Was one of the big problems with generative AI is understanding what source material was used to train the large language model underlying the solution. In other words, what did they use for this computer program to figure out how to make the changes that it makes when they do use the generative AI feature? What are they doing to do that? Well, there's a little bit of contention here because Adobe started out saying that somewhere in here that we have the ability to now train on hundreds of millions of pieces of content that are fully licensed. He didn't lie. They are licensed. If you have copyright, you can license them, and are going to produce generative output that is safe for commercial use. That's the key, is that if they're going to use your stuff that's in the cloud on their server, they have to compensate you for it, or it's copyright infringement. So they can't just like take your stuff and use it, because when it does this large language model work, it's going to grab that information from those existing photos and use those to do the fill math to add your border. Say, fill in a corner, remove a garbage can, what have you. And, and of course the next line literally says the flip side of that is how the artist whose work is being used will be compensated. This is a very good question. And the article is very, it might be what they call it, a hit piece. I don't know, but it makes a good point. If, they're training all these AIs, where are they getting the information to teach them? The biggest one going right now is ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was trained on the entirety of the internet available to it up to like 2021. They created a cutoff date and picked 2021. Excuse me. But that 2021 cutoff date told you that anything uploaded or whatever to your website after that fact wouldn't be a part of its learning model. Now, of course, the newer ones will be trained with newer and more up-to-date information. Everything that's happened in the news will all be in the newer ones. But look, it goes on to say, we want to be very clear that we're doing this in a way that will ultimately be commercially good for them. And for them, he's talking about the artist. And we're committing to making sure that we compensate them for revenues generated from Firefly. Now, how are they going to know you've generated revenues from using Firefly? If you generate a piece of work with Firefly, that takes a piece of work from somebody else's portfolio, and then you sell that piece after you've printed it, how do they know you did that? I don't have confidence in them knowing how to track that to generate basically revenue, unless they charge you for use of Firefly somehow. Like, it'll be a subscription service just like all the other Adobe products, and that's where I think this will ultimately go. I don't know how they're determining right now what they're doing, but they are figuring out a way of tracking this. They have to. Otherwise, people are just going to, this is a big problem. You know, some of these people have significant portfolios tied to the uh, Adobe's cloud system, if I had to guess, and that's most likely where they're getting all of this from to do this with. There's a lot of photos up there, and we'll be releasing more of those details as we come out of the Firefly beta in the months ahead. Well, what about between now and the months ahead is another question that they never really addressed. Phil said thumbs up, thanks. Yeah, y'all do that. The next thing it says is the devil will surely be in the details there, and artists will be watching closely to see if the company does indeed compensate them fairly. Now, I'm going to jump back to me for a minute. Now, that's something that I've noticed ever since YouTube, and now what TikTok's doing it, is they're compensating creators for their work. Up till YouTube was invented, the internet at large didn't do that, and YouTube paved the way with monetary compensation, or Google actually. I don't think the original owners of YouTube did compensated content. I think that was something YouTube or Google introduced after they acquired it, and they did profit sharing or revenue sharing or whatever you want to call it. And since then, TikTok does it, but they don't do it to the level that YouTube does. And then I think Instagram is kicking around the idea of doing profit sharing from advertisements, since they do ads, but I don't know about that one. I haven't done the research to see if that one is actually going to happen or not. But as far as the bulk of it goes, the bulk of the internet doesn't compensate you for your work, and quite the contrary, they will, like, a lot of times freely pirate your work for their reasons. And so it's unique that Adobe is in a position to where they know they're going to have to compensate these photographers somehow, but they ain't quite figured out how they're going to do it yet. I really believe it'll be a deal where you'll pay a monthly fee to use Firefly, just like Lightroom, Photoshop, Premiere Pro, or whatever that you use of theirs. I think that's where it's going, and it'll have to be, because then you'll have to, you as a creator will have to do an agreement for them to license your images for Firefly's use or something. I'm just one guy sitting here spitballing this on the internet. They've got teams of lawyers working on this, so it's very plausible that they'll have a solution pretty soon. But it's just pretty impressive that someone's figured out that apparently someone has seen some of the generated fill and it looked like some of their photos. That's all I can come up with. Bill says, hope they pay better than YouTube ads. And here lately, that's been a problem. I don't know what the downside of that is, or what you going to call it, the backside. Yeah, what's going on under the hood or behind the scenes at YouTube. But there's been a lot of creators talking about how there's a glitch or a bug, and it's causing their ad revenue to not work right, and it's like not promoting videos like it was. Like, you can just see the chart goes across and then just falls off on a lot of them. And then last November there was a big change, and a lot of that I believe has to do with advertisers. They have a finite amount of advertisers, and every day they onboard more creators, diluting the pool of ad revenue options, if you want to call it that, for each creator to draw on, because they can only show so many ads per day per advertiser. It's impressions or whatever they call that, where they show the ad. They agree ahead of time how many of those they'll show per day, and then they bill that advertiser a little bit for that ad. And if you add 1,000 photography channels a day, and now you've got 10,000 ads, and you did have 10,000 photography channels. Now you have 11,000. Well, now it just went down a few percent. You know, there's a little bit of drop in the number of ads that you can run, so your revenue shrinks a little. That's the only thing I can come up with that. I mean, my revenue has never really climbed over about $50 a month. 45, 50, depending on the month. Around Christmas, it'll shoot up. Like the month of December's revenue typically would be like 80. I think I've seen one $100 month the whole time, you know. But that's, my channel doesn't get that many views. It's different, you know. Different creators see different numbers. That's the way it works. Phil says mine's just as low as usual. Mine is too. Like I said, mine has been about the same. I think it's like at $52 this month. You know, that pays for my Epidemic Sound subscription and my subscription. Yeah, there's some developments. Let me jump back over to this. And if you'll go up here and look at this screen, and you go down here to the bottom, and you follow this yellow arrow, and you see it points to a little blue icon there and there. I went back over to the dark side, and I downloaded Lightroom again. And it mainly had to do with the fact that exposure was limiting my ability to produce images like I wanted. I just, when me and Aaron sat down with a what do you call it? A bracketed set of images of a marquee, movie sign marquee on the front of a building, and literally like 3 clicks later, he had merged them and had a base image that was not overexposed and was ready to do final edits on. It blew my mind. It honestly, it did. It was so good, and it did it so fast that I was like, all right, I'll sign back up. They've just got it figured out. It works. This is not the David you're looking for. Phil said, I did instantly lose 17 subscribers today. And Tim said he lost quite a few at the same time. Huh. You got me wondering. Let me just check. Is that it? Where's it at? Subscribers. No, I didn't lose any. I actually gained 5 today. So mine is not like yours for some reason. I wonder what happened there. I got to find the OBS button. There it is. Yeah, mine hovers around 2 or 3, sometimes 0. It averages about 40 or 50 a month, I think. What's it say? 49 in the last month is what my subscriber growth is. Lightroom and Photoshop is a bargain. Yeah, it really is. What is it, $10 a month for them too? You stole my subs. Come over to the dark side. See how dark my shirt is? I don't know what the delay is between me reading your comment and you hearing what I say, but when I respond, that's about how long it takes, because I've seen that one pop up on the chat. It says, but they kind of start going in circles, you know, and it becomes a bunch of political kind of doublespeak or lawyerese, where they say a bunch of words and don't really say anything after that. But says, first and foremost, we want to do this in concert and in conversation with everyone that is a contributor to the Adobe stock. So they're using the Adobe stock images as the images that they are training with. That's where they're getting the image content. And you know, of course, if you uploaded to Adobe stock, then you got compensated if someone purchased that image to use it commercially. That's the point. So it says, so we're reaching out. Oh, that means an email's coming. We've already started conversation with a broad base of creators. We're not ready to state what we're going to do, but we're coming out of beta because we're still learning. Yeah, you know, it's a bunch of lawyerese to fill space on the page. He says, ultimately, now we're getting somewhere. Everybody should win because there will be so much more demand for content, and he believes that this can be good for both Adobe to attract new customers with less artistic skill to the platform, as well as the stock artists whose work is being used as a basis to generate new pieces. I don't know about that one. I see the point, but I don't know. So in a world where content becomes such a fuel for growth, what does that even mean? What? We think that there's an opportunity to leverage generative technology. Leverage. Here we go. Like I said, it becomes a bunch of doublespeak after that. All right. They're trying to say a lot of stuff without really saying anything at all. But, I mean, where's it going to go? Somebody has to get compensated for that work if they've agreed commercially on that website to provide that work for that website. Aaron says, well, if you think about how much time it saves, like I am going through nearly 3,500 photos from this past weekend, you're talking about Lightroom. Yeah. Yeah, that the time saving, that sold me right away. When I saw that, it was like, yeah, I'm in. After struggling around with second tier programs trying to do the same thing and it wasn't really working, yeah, that shocked me how easy that was and how good it looked. I reworked several of the photos on my website. Well, let's just jump over to that. Let's see. Yeah. Let me open it up here. If you go over to my website, welcome to the delay. Oh no. Maybe he's talking about. But I reworked this image from the other day when I realized that it was very yellow on the front of the building. Like the street lights are, I guess, mercury vapor, and they cast a really strong yellow cast on everything. And I literally clicked on the image and hit auto, and then grabbed the eyedropper and clicked on the white stripe of the road, and it instantly fixed it. Like, I tried that before in exposure, and it didn't fix it. And then I hit the transform automatic button, and it fixed the building because I'm shooting at the building at a slight angle here, not square on, so the building was warped a little bit, and it straightened it up. I mean, you could literally see it straighten the building. It just fixed it. And like the colors are so much better. It just works so well. Thank you, Albert. When you see the original photo, it don't look near this good. Like it shocked me how good it worked. I got quite a few of these now. I started putting them all together in one spot. I got another one from here that I want to work where I'm down closer to the front of the building. I just kind of like this street photography-esque picture. Is there another one after that one? Yeah, and then this is the one that Aaron showed me how easy it was to merge them. And it worked. It worked so well. I'll jump out of that and go back to the main screen. I don't remember if I pulled any of these other ones in. I worked on this one with it. I really like this photo. The way the light's reflecting off the building on the other side of the alley, lighting the wall with the sun backlighting Aaron's silhouette. That's just pretty cool. It just worked out. Everything just kind of fell together. I could do without the trees in the edge, but they're not bad enough. You don't really notice them if you don't look for them, since your eye's drawn to this really bright spot in the center of the alley, then you don't really catch it, so I ain't worrying on it. At first, I was like, man, I really would like to get rid of them, but then after you look at it for a minute, you don't even see them. But, yeah. Thank you, Albert. So yeah, I'm gonna slowly but surely go back through the catalog and do some updates. I updated the home page and changed a bunch of that around the other day. But it's a not never-ending job just keeping that web page kind of freshened up, especially when I'm editing a photo and I look on the screen on the edit and I look up at my website and the picture I'm editing looks way better than the one on the website. And it's like, click. We got to put that on there and delete that one. So several of the images on the web page just kind of went away. I pulled them down and put new ones in their place. Thank you, Hassan. Don't think any of those were taken with your lenses. I tried my best. Did you get your lenses yet? They should have shipped out already. We sent them days ago. But I tried to be like very careful with those since they were in literally like new, unused condition, and I was afraid that I was going to scratch them up. So I was very careful with where I took them and what I did with them. I didn't want to risk damaging them just carrying them around all the time. Because I've got, like, I'll just put a lens on the camera and just go. It won't even go in a camera bag. I'll just carry it. And, so they get wear on them. It's just the way it is. Not yet. I will check on that tomorrow and get the tracking number and figure out where those are, because they should have left already. Like, they should, at least last week one day. You should be seeing them. I'll find out in the morning. Matter of fact, I'll make the note right now. Let's see here. I ain't making that mistake twice. Alright, come on. Okay, y'all, let's see. There. Now I know what'll happen because it's on the spreadsheet. That's how you make stuff happen. But like I said, I'll get the tracking number and send it to you. Cough, cough, Jenna. Jenna's kind of on the camera right now. Yeah, and that's what's going on with it. I've been taking pictures with it a lot. That 58 millimeter that I alluded to in the short belongs to Aaron in the chat, and it is a pretty sweet little lens to be a 58 millimeter and f2 from that period. When you shoot it wide open, it's a little soft. They all are, but it has character. It looks cool. It does. It's not like chromatic aberration. It's just a little bit soft around the edges, and you still have good clarity and you get detail, but it's not like super hard edges. So if you was like doing portraits of women, I'm just going to say it, women like to look younger, and this softens the facial features a little bit. This would be a wonderful portrait lens for that. You're not going to get every little defect and crease around the eyes like I have right there. It would be wonderful for that. I can see that being a great application for that lens. It'd be awesome for like wedding dress shoots where the bride goes out somewhere and does a photo shoot in her dress, before the wedding by herself, and one of those kind of deals where you do an on location shoot with a bride. It would look cool with that. It's a 1957 model. Wow. Hassan says, glad you enjoyed them. Which one was your favorite? Just to be honest, probably I would pick the 90. The 90 millimeter, being a little telephoto, it worked really well when I was at Nightfall, just taking snapshots of the crowd. I didn't really have to get like really close to people. I could just mingle around and just get candids, and it worked really well. It's long enough that it gives you a little telephoto compression, but not much. It basically ends up being like an 85 millimeter portrait lens is what it boils down to. But it works surprisingly well. With the way Chattanooga is, the streets are like really wide. Market Street and Broad Street especially are really wide avenues. And, you know, they're 4 lane through the city. There's 2 lanes in each direction. So if you're photographing the other sidewalk across the street, it's a good piece over there. You know, it's a good 50, 60 feet to the other sidewalk. So you need just a little bit, or the people are this big, you know. You shoot 28 millimeter across the street, they're little ants on the other sidewalk. And that 90 mil helped a lot with that. That was actually a really big benefit. I like the 65. The 65 being closer to 50 is closer to my normal street photo length, because I normally shoot with 50 mil, and that lets me shoot, you know, everything. It's my general purpose wander around focal length is 50. And so I used it like that, and I carried it more than I carried the 90. The 65 is a really nice lens. It's a little heavier. That was another thing. It's those lenses are very dense. They're all metal and glass, so they're dense. They're kind of heavy. The 90 wasn't bad because it's small. It's just a tiny little thing to be 90 millimeters. That was pretty impressive. Phil's got the Samyang 35 to 150 coming in. It was $300 on B&H on sale. That's all. And it's an autofocus? Dude, that's epic. Aaron says the Carl Zeiss Jenna is a 1957 model. That's impressive. That lens, I pegged it for the early 60s, so it's actually late 50s. Wow. The craftsmanship of that lens is incredible. It's a cooling fan in that other camera I bought. But yeah, that thing's impressive. Oh, $300 off. Oh, I thought, man, you scored. He said it's $1,100 after discount. Well, f2 to f2.8, 35 f2 is a big lens. That's a lot of glass. Excuse me. Been talking and not breathing. This is that lens is beautiful to look at. I am waiting for the Samyang 35 to 150 to hit L mount. That's what Hassan says. Should be soon. Looks like an awesome lens. I have never mounted a Samyang lens on one of my cameras and even tried it. Closest I've been to any of those are these little TT Artisan lenses on my CL. And these things are stunningly good. Like, I am shocked at how good these little $70 and $80 lenses are. I bought this one second-handed. This 17 millimeter is a beautiful little lens for crop center cameras. I got the 35 on it, and I got another 35 on the shelf somewhere up here. That's the 0.95 aperture. I don't know where it's at. It's up there somewhere. But one of these days, I got to flip the camera and show you guys the Shelfo lenses. That's my lens collection. But what about Rokinon? I have never had a Rokinon lens. I have had Rikonon, which is a Ricoh lens from back in the film camera days. Ricoh made the Rikonons. I had a 58 millimeter, I think it was. I bought second-handed at the little camera shop in Asheville, North Carolina, and it was actually a nice little lens. I did a review where I walked around the river with it. But yeah, no Rokinon. I've never used one of them. I haven't had a Tokina lens in ages. Let's see here. Hassan sent Phil a link. Albert says, I have the Nikon Z85 f1.8, and I hate to say that I don't use it for close-up portraits since it's too sharp And I always wind up turning back to older lenses. Here's something interesting. Back when I bought my Z6, was about a year after it come out. I wasn't an early adopter. I waited about a year. And when I went to buy mine, I bought my camera and I got it kitted with that 24 to 70 f4. And then I additionally bought the 85-1.8 lens. And I thought I'll use this lens regularly because at the time when I got that Z6, I was shooting the XT3 with 55 millimeter lenses on it. And, you know, those translate out to like 80s. So I thought that'll be the same focal length I'm used to seeing. I'll be using that lens all the time. You back? What? Yeah, you always do. The wife is here. We're live streaming. But I never hardly used it. I used it for one video where I reviewed it, and I took it that day and shot with it. And then I might have mounted it one other time. The rest of the time I was running adapted lenses with a M42 adapter or whatever, or I was running that 24 to 70 f4. And I just never really used that lens all that much. And I wound up selling it pretty early on. I think I still had the Z6 for a little while after that. I think it went out in the first wave of stuff that left, and then maybe the Z6 went later. I don't remember now. It's kind of a little bit blurry at this point because it's been a while. But yeah, I just didn't use it. It just sat on the shelf. I don't know. It's weird how your wants or your needs or whatever change as you change equipment. It just kind of shifts around. It's really odd. Okay, I'm caught up. What are we looking at here? Good, 0 drop frames. 37 minutes of streaming and I've dropped 0 frames. The internet is good to me today. Oh! Get this out. I did a review on these not long ago. Just wanted to bring that up. The little wireless mics. And I don't know if that came through and made a mess or not. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's working. One of them is clipped inside my pocket right now. Yeah, see it right there. And it's got what it has a rare earth magnet, and the back of the pocket clip is magnetic or it's steel one. I ain't real sure which. And you just stick it in the pocket and use the rare earth magnet and you just clip it on, and you can hide it. It kind of blends away in these black work shirts, but you can see the little magnet that they painted flat black. It's meant to go on like a sports coat or something, and it hides better that way. But you know, you can put it like near a buttonhole or something and make it disappear. But yeah, I thought that's pretty cool. And I've got the receiver plugged into the computer, so I've got it set up as a auxiliary microphone in the computer. And so the regular mics unhooked, and I'm running these today. I'm doing two things. One, I was doing like battery life tests. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to see how long the battery holds up, and right now the receiver is telling me that the battery has a mountain of charge left in it. I can't tell, but it looks like the receiver's charge is really good too. So they're supposed to last like 7 hours on a charge, some kind of crazy length of time. I figured I'd stream with them and see how they held up. But yeah, the little full aim X5 wireless mics, I've been using them a good bit here lately. I've been using them a lot in standalone mode. But the sounds good, but I missed the handwritten web address on the other mic. Yeah. I'll probably bring that back because it's kind of nice having the boom mic. It just, for some reason, those work really well, and this is a little bit of a pain to get working because you got to plug in the receiver and plug it in the computer and then go into software and figure out which one is that mic, because it's seeing several mics. There's like 4 listed on this computer. I've mic'd to death on this thing apparently, but I had to go in and figure out which one it was, and then assign it in OBS to the little doohickeys, you know. But sounds good, but I miss it. Yeah. Peter from Belgium, 3 a.m. I should be asleep. Well, thank you for stopping in for the stream. Wow, 3 o'clock in the morning. I will be asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning here. It's only 9 here. It's 9:15. What's up? Nope. Because I didn't go to the grocery store.
You didn't say tell me.
Yeah, and I went off. And I didn't go to the grocery store. I failed to go to the grocery store. What time do they close? Oh.
Not much longer. I was going to tell you. I didn't.
Oh. I don't know, maybe a little bit. Now you done broke my stream. I don't know what I'm saying. I know I talked about the microphones. Looks like I've covered everything. Dave got to the grocery store. Got to go. Yeah, I was supposed to, and I actually even had a list sent to me to get the stuff, and I drove right by it when I got home. Completely forgot it. Mrs. Freeze. Who are you? That's a name I haven't seen on the stream before. Normally it's the same like 10 people. You're new. But yeah, the AI thing, I'll just jump back to that for a minute. I looked for it on Lightroom and Photoshop and didn't find it, and I got to digging around, found out it was this other deal. And then I got to realizing that the terms of service are linked to ChatGPT and OpenAI, and I just wasn't really enthused with OpenAI's terms of service. And oh, okay, cool. But but the terms of service of OpenAI has a lot of language in it that is prohibitive for me to agree to it. When I dug real deep into the terms of service, and it talked about indemnifying them in court, and it's an open indemnification, which basically means that if there's legal action involving you, you have to pay OpenAI's attorneys, and they get to pick the attorneys. You openly agree to this when you sign up for their account. I can share the YouTube video where an attorney goes through it and explains it in detail. But yeah, when I seen that and saw that it's actually there, this wasn't like a fluff piece to put together so that he could get views. It's actually in the terms of service. That I deleted my account immediately. That's why I don't use ChatGPT anymore. Where did you and Aaron shoot? Will there be a video? Yes, there will be a video. We walked around downtown for about an hour before we went and ate dinner. I took him to an Italian restaurant that he seemed to like a lot. And but we went down we parked on Main, walked down Market to about 6th or 7th, turned around, and then came back up Broad, back to Main, and we dipped over to Cowart Street, and that's where that mural is on that wall right before you get to Main on Cowart. But so that was the loop we walked that day, and we got quite a few interesting photos. I got to go back through my catalog, and I got to noticing I've taken a lot of photos of the Tivoli marquee, but I haven't took one recently with it under power because they're closed and they only light it up when they have a show. And I need to go back through my catalog and find where I have taken a photo of it and add it to this collection, because I've started collecting these, and I want to get all of these put together in one place, because I'm starting to see that there's a pattern here. Oh, that video. Yeah, Peter, I actually read it, and honestly, um, if you read the terms of service on about all the other things you use online, they're very similarly worded. It's um, it's kind of shocking. Uh, PayPal's is one of the worst, and I use PayPal, and it's pretty dark in places where you agree to a lot of things that you probably shouldn't in there. Let's see. Oh, that video. Mrs. Freeze and her better half shot the video for the event. Um, Aaron was quite busy last weekend. Like he said, he's working on 3,500 photos from the weekend, and there are probably going to be 3,000 keepers out of that 3,500. Going back to sleep. Take care. Well, thank you. Thank you for stopping into the stream. The C2C disciple showed up. Just log on and heard the word collection. Is this an intervention session? Oh. No, I'm talking about here, I'll just show you. A collection of photos. If you'll notice, I'm starting to collect these typically movie marquees, but this one happens to be an arcade in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. But I'm starting to see that I'm accumulating these as I find them. And I know I've got a couple or three more scattered throughout my catalog, and I want to go through and find them. Something like this one even maybe. And put them all in one place. I found 4 so far, and I gathered all them up the other day and put them in one spot on my website. I really like photographing them at night, especially when the road's wet. They just look cool. This one wasn't wet, but you do the best with what you can. But yeah, thank you. Mrs. Freeze says those are really nice. That's just something that I've had my attention drawn to for ages. I really love seeing them. Them and urban decay, which I have 0 of my urban decay photography on my website. I really need to make a 3rd portfolio and put those on it, or at least some of them. Love the dramatic look, contrasty night shot. Yeah, some of they're at different times of blue hour. You got blue hour, and then you got whatever they call that, civil twilight or military sunset or whatever it is, and then pure on night. This one was full on night before I got back down to it. I kind of wanted this one to be closer to dark because of the building. The building was just real plain. It's just a square concrete building. It wasn't real exciting. Most buildings, they have some kind of structure to them, and they look unique. But that one wasn't. It was just plain square, looked like an office building. They had added that marquee to it. So I figured at night it'd be a little more dramatic with the lighting and things like that. And I stopped it down. I was going to try to get light stars, but it didn't light star up fully. It did a little bit. You can see it around this street light some, but for the most part it didn't. Yeah. Close that. Like this one. This one light stars up really good. I was with Phil Thatch this day. Him and Heather took photos of this as well. They got the cooler photos later on when the storm rolled in. That second photo will make for a nice painting. This one, yeah, I like it. I like that one a lot. I took about 8 photos that night standing there. I just saw this, and I've got a similar one from Savannah, Georgia, and I thought that's where this was until I got to really looking for it, and I realized it was in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. But yeah, I have another one from down in Savannah that's very similar. The same angle, the crowd on the street and everything. Like I said, I need to dig it up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make some notes about that before I get up from this stream. Yeah. Oh, Ron. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. All right. But yeah, I just wanted to talk for a few minutes about the Adobe AI stock photography issue that's kind of cropping up in the news. That was just one article that I have seen probably a half a dozen talking about that same thing since that come out. There's Reddit threads on it. There's a lot of chatter about it right now. So what are y'all's thoughts on it? If y'all leave comments, we can create a conversation. Photoshop the sky or AI the shot. Kidding. Oh, you didn't go there. Oh. Oh, that was good. Yeah, you got me on that one. What is it? Is it the nature pictures? I've got the same. Yeah, there's some landscape stuff there, but it's mostly wildlife. I have currently two portfolio pages where I just have images I've taken. One is wildlife and nature, and one is urban or city stuff and people, you know. Tennessee Theater on Gay Street in Knoxville might be a good one for you to photograph. Yeah, anything in Broad Street or any of those subordinate side streets like Gay Street would all be good. There's so many low light photos. You need to go with somebody. Don't go by yourself. But I don't know what the safety level would be after dark by yourself with expensive camera equipment. But some nice tripod shots there would be cool. It'd be nice to go with maybe a 6-stop ND and stop the camera down to maybe f11. Shoot it at low ISO and have like a 3 or 4 minute exposure, and that way the people don't appear in the image. You know, they all move out basically because of the time of the exposure. I think you could probably get some cool photos like that, but you'd need to ND it down on top of it just to get the shutter speed long enough, because there's so much light there. That area is so well lit from just all the signage. But yeah, I appreciate you guys logging in for a little while. And this has went on almost an hour already. So it's about time to wrap it up anyway. I just wanted to hop on the stream, talk about the Adobe AI article that I showed you, and get y'all's feedback on it. What you think? You know, where will this go? Will they basically come up with a way of sidestepping, compensating the creators? Or will they come up with a way that'll be kind of like YouTube ad revenue, you know, and you'll just get a little piece of the monthly subscription fees from all the people that subscribe to it. It's going to be an interesting story that unfolds. I'm curious to see where it goes. As AI is going to replace a bunch of photography. I can see it coming. You can take a mediocre image of product, drop it into AI, and tell them to do this and this and this with it in a prompt, and it'll fix the image just exactly like you want. As long as the product's well exposed and is reasonably sharp, the AI will be able to do the rest. You know, it'll be a different industry. It won't eliminate. You'll just transition to where you do things differently is what I figure will happen. But it's interesting where it's going. It's kind of neat to be in the middle of something like this that's going to be game changing. It's literally a game changing technology, and getting to see the changes happen as you live through it. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. All right, Greg Cassidy showed up. How you doing, Greg? Thank you for stopping in. But yeah, I'm about to sign off and go in here and visit with Teresa for a little while. She's been gone all day. She just got home, and I failed to go to the grocery store. So until next time, get your camera out and go take a picture with it, all right? We'll see you later. But yeah, thank you for coming to the stream, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye, y'all.